What we're going to do now is have a discussion, right? Normally I look forward to this part of the lecture. So in this particular day, rather than starting anything from you, I would like to go straight to the audience. And let's ask them whether they have any questions. I'm sure they have something. And then we'll get warmed up. Anybody who has a question to be asked up front? මොනාරි ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා නම් අපිට අහන්න පුළුවන්. මොකද Tamande අහන ප්‍රශ්නේ හරියට තේරුම් යන විදිහට අහන්න පුළුවන්කම තියෙනුනේ. ඒකින්ද ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා නම් අහන්න. භාෂා ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. ප්‍රශ්න ඔක්කො මේ ගාමිනී. මොකද්ද මේ මෙතන මේ තියෙන දේ? දැන් අපි ලංකාවේ ගිහිල්ලා මීටින් එකකට ගිහිල්ලා ආවම 1000ක් විතර මිනිස්සු ඉන්නවා. හරිද? බුදුහාමුදුරුවෝ ආවත්, යේසුස් ක්‍රිස්තුස් වහන්සේ ආවත්, කවුරු ආවත් ආයේ අම්මා මුත්තා කිව්වත් කවදාවත් ප්‍රශ්නයක් නම් අහනවා මම දැකලා නැහැ. මේකට සම්බන්ධකමක් තියෙනවද ඔයා කතා කරපු දෙයට? එතනින් පටන් ගමු අපි.
ඒක නම් හුඟක් වෙලාවට ඒක නම් කල්චරලි වෙන්නේ ඒෂියන් රීජන් එකේ. අපි හිතනවා හුඟක් වෙලාවට අපි ප්‍රශ්නයක් අහුවම they are challenging the authority or the lecturer or the presenter, so it is not nice. Take a reason. Another reason is hුඟක් වෙලාවට is the feel bad sometimes අපි ඉන්නවා dumb question එකක් අහනවා අනිත් එක hina වෙයි කියලා. So no question is a dumb question. I mean, if you ask even a dumb question, after that you will be knowledgeable. But so otherwise, forever, you will be a dumb person.
One of the things that the entrepreneur should have is, or a technopreneur should have, is the curiosity. So curiosity means that you should be asking questions. And one of the other things you said is that you should not be afraid to fail. So that's the reason why I asked that question. ඉතින් ඒක නිසා බය නැතුව අපිට ප්‍රශ්න මොනවා හරි තියෙනවා නම් අහන්න. වැරදුනා හරි 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 දාන්න අපිටත් ඉගෙන ගන්න යත්. කවුද ප්‍රශ්නයක් අහන්න යන්නේ? Please state your name, sir, and then.
My name is David Pravis. I'm very much retired engineer, practiced for a long time. Then I hesitated because you said you must ask question challenging. On the contrary, I didn't. I don't want to challenge him because I agree almost fully with it. And looking back on not only my career, but also I'm privy to seeing not only engineers, accountants, as a banker, and entrepreneurs. So I fully appreciate what you said. And just a few. This is something rather I find unusual situation in Sri Lanka. I mean, I'm comparing the Asian countries, as you know. Many Asian countries, now even the tigers, like Korea, Taiwan, certainly the China, Japan, many such countries, even India. Those with technical and engineering background are not only the entrepreneurs but also business leaders, and they have empires. Not in Sri Lanka. It's very sad. Now, even international, if you take the Fortune 500, the largest 40% of the CEOs of Fortune 500, they have an engineering background. Of course, they may not doing engineering as you say, but they had a background. You take Asian countries, it is also the same. Even Singapore, at one stage, even the cabinet, right, about 2/3 of the cabinet had an engineer. So I find something very sad. Once again, looking back on, I'm talking of the 50s, when I entered the university, an engineer or even an engineering undergraduate, very high regard in society. As probably a doctor, lawyer, as a profession, the accountants were not even thought of, But today, very sad, Sri Lanka, the social law, the esteem, the societal esteem for engineers is extremely low. And I think it is not the fault of the society, it's the fault of the engineers. So, if at all, as a question, I want to get your thought, what can be done we have, our universities have turned engineers to be on tap and never on top, right? Just being used by, unfortunately, the accountant, as you rightly said. To begin with, they were the leftovers. You suggest with your knowledge of the corporate world and so on, what something which can be done? Is it at the school level, university level, or corporate level, or middle level, or as you say, mentoring? Is there any suggestions that you would
ask the question and to some extent you gave the answer. Let me elaborate on what you asked. Before that, I recognize Mr. Bailey long time and people so coming back to the question, there are a number of things we could do. When we, of course, I have very close relationship with the universities also. Mostly they say, if we are trying to do in addition to what to limited. But irony of it is sometimes just say that of it. But there are some professors, they understand this and they try to bring in alternative methods of inculcating this value, this thinking within students. For example, when we talk now, communication, as I shared with you, that was a very important element in any. The first Toastmasters club we formed outside Colombo was in Canada. How we did it is, we basically got 30 engineers, practicing engineers, in Kandy, and we told them, we are going to conduct a speech transfer program for you in Kandy, so that you don't have to sponsor the way for 10 weeks from Kandy to Colombo. But you have to sponsor one student. So when we say you have to sponsor, they did not personally sponsor, it's the organization. So we got charged from them 15,000 rupees from each individual, and we trained 30 students and 30 engineers. So after training this, on initiative sharing, after training this, we formed the Peradeniya University Level Club and it was. So that is going long way. In fact, one of the students became the All Ireland best speaker in 1 year. It's not that they are done, not that they know. They are less smart. It's a question of opportunities that is being given. That's one. Then the second thing is, all our alumni we basically push the university to say, don't focus only on the infrastructure. It's very important the discipline. So with that, there are key subjects that have which has nothing to do with engineering. Even things like meditation, art, song writing. There are a number of different disciplines brought in. There is some development. Then, right now, we are discussing a very correct question. Right now, we are trying to bring in a kind of a mentoring system with the industry and the university students. So, this is where definitely people like your senior engineers, volunteers, spend your time. Now, the technology is so much developed, you don't have to travel. You can just have a Skype session, maybe once a month, you just spend half an hour. And that is a service we can do for country, we can really implement. Like this, there are a number of initiatives which we can do, update, and create the awareness in engineering students. Having said that, we have to change the institute. I used to argue and I used to say, I was in the CPD, I can be very open and critical. Sometimes we self-pity ourselves. We say that engineers are not being paid high, so that because of that they can afford to pay 5,000 rupees. Why should we say so? It is up to us to. If they are not paid high, it is up to us to clear that environment that they will be paid. So that I think we will see how we can change it. It is yes.
Thank you, Gamani. Mr. Prelis, can I proceed with another question? Right. I see some of the committee members from the mechanical engineering sectional committee, so this is not going to work. So I'm going to go outside the box. I didn't expect me to be forcing people to ask questions. So Gayantha, you're Gayantha, sir? Yes, Gayantha, mic please to Gayantha. So we got to figure this out, because when this lecture was organized, I actually sent it to many universities asking them to send people or go live, watch it live stream. So I would like to ask Gayantha, what do you think right now after the lecture? You knew all these things from a book, or what exactly is going through your mind? Because you are a young engineer, you are a very active person and think outside the box. What are you thinking right now?
Actually, things shared, sure it will be beneficial. I have certain things in my mind, and this lecture guided and it elaborate my knowledge in the area where I should go. I'm in a certain question, and I have certain ideas to be an entrepreneur one day. So the ideas he has shared will definitely work on me. That's my idea.
So they have gained something out of the lecture up already, but the question is, state your name.
Yeah, give the I have one question regarding this managing of maybe the Fortune 500 big companies. That we take this maybe this European and American companies. I think see a lot of collapses and maybe merge and maybe crisis situation. Almost all these companies are led by maybe MBA holders, PhD holders, and basically they are accountants. People not coming from technical background, but from financial background. Most of the people in these European and American companies are led by this kind of people. But if you take China and maybe even Korea, I have seen some companies are maybe semi-government type, but most of these companies are not governed by, not like these American or European companies. They are mostly governed by engineers, people with engineering background and with some kind of maybe not like this those things taught in MBAs and other things. They are not much practicing. I think I have seen some companies, they have practicing some kind of maybe father and son type of relationship. That young engineers are treated as their sons, so maybe they are even physically punished people. And they have some maybe different kind of relationship. But these companies are perform very well. Very well perform. But I think, how can we relate this, I think, the discussion
question. In fact, I was saying, if Thomas Alva Edison had an MBA, he would have invented a bigger candle instead of a light bulb. So, MBA alone has nothing to do with the failure or the success of these organizations. Of course, if you really look at these Eastern and the Western organizations, there is a big cultural difference. All the Eastern organizations, they have their own stakeholders. Who are those stakeholders? Their first priority is their employees. First priority is for their employees. Then their customers. Then only the stakeholders. That is the Eastern. But whereas when it comes to Western, also stock market driven, we should be able to comment on that area. Stock market driven, and at the end, because of that, they are answerable to the shareholders. So by hook or by crook, the CEOs, their survival depends on showing the short term during that period value to the organization. Whereas the Eastern culture, what they look at is more focusing on the long term sustainability and the long term sustenance of the organization. They take a more long term, more pragmatic approach as against the Western culture in general. But apart from that, there are so many other parameters. Just isolated to these issues. There are some other parameters. Basically, the value that somebody brings into the table. The values drive their behavior. So that way, if you say, I don't have the information, but if you say yes, that run by engineers, they are running well, we can be happy that we are being trained to have proper values compared to other people.
Gamin. Mr. Preli, just let me give you opportunity. I want to go along with this question. දැන් ගාමිනී මට ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා. දැන් අපි මේ ලෙක්චර් එකට එනකොට අපි ආවේ ටෙක්නොප්‍රෙනර්ෂිප් එක ගැන කතා කරන්න. right? දැන් ගාමිනී අපිට කියලා දුන්නා ටෙක්නොප්‍රෙනර් කෙනෙක් කියන්නේ එක පැත්තකින් මට තේරිච්ච විදිහට මම කියන්නේ එක පැත්තකින් මොකක් හරි ඔපරේෂනල් සයිඩ් එක. ඔපරේෂනල් සයිඩ් කියන්නේ අවශ්‍ය වෙලාවට අගිස්සටම ගිහිල්ලා වැඩි අත ගහලා තේරුම් අරගෙන කරන්න ඕන. ඒ වගේම හැකියාව තියෙන්න ඕන කියලා කිව්වා. ඒක කරාට පස්සේ විගාට ආපස්සට ඇවිල්ලා මුළු කම්පැනි දිහාම එහෙම නැත්නම් මාකට් එක දිහාම බලන්න. ඔය දෙක මෙහෙම බෑක් ඇන්ඩ් ෆෝත් යන්න පුළුවන් කියන කමක් කිව්වා. දැන් ප්‍රශ්නේ තියෙන්නේ දැන් ලංකාවේ ඕක වෙනවා හරි අඩුයි කියන එක තමයි හැමෝම කියන්නේ. ඒක මේ අපි කතා කරන්න අවශ්‍ය දෙයක් නෙවෙයි. මෙතන පුනා කියන්න අවශ්‍ය දෙයක් නෙවෙයි. ඕක වෙන්නේ නැහැ. හරිද? එතකොට දැන් අපි මෙතන අපි සාකච්ඡාව මට යොමු කරන්න ඕනේ. මේ අපි කණ්ඩායමත් එක්ක ඔබතුමාත් එකතු වෙලා මේක ගැන තේරුම් ගන්න ඇයි මේක වෙන්නේ නැත්තේ කියන එක. right? දැන් කීර්ති කියනවා ජපානයේ මෙහෙමයි ඇමරිකාවේ මෙහෙමයි කියන එක. ඒව මට වැඩක් නෑ. පුද්ගලයෙක්ට මම ලංකාවේ ඉන්නේ. දැන් මට ඕනකම තියෙන්නේ ලංකාවේ මේ අපි ඉන්න කට්ටියට මේ ප්‍රශ්නයක් අහන්න බෑ. අහන්න බයයි. එතනින් ගියාම ඩිග්‍රියක් ගත්තට පස්සේ පඩියක් අරගෙන ජීවත් වෙන අවුරුදු 25ක් 30ක් කරන ලොකුම ඔන්ටර්ප්‍රෙනියර් වැඩේ ගයක් හදන එකයි ළමයි දෙන්න තුනේ හදාගන්න එකයි. ඒව නරක වැඩ නෙවෙයි හොඳ වැඩ. මුත් එතනින් එහාට යන්නේ නැහැ. ලොකු ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා. නමුත් අපේ විද්වත්තු පිටරට ගියාකුවම අති දක්ෂව බවට පත් වෙනවා. දැන් අපේ ලංකාවට ඕනෙ කෙනෙක් ඕස්ට්‍රේලියාවට හරි ඇමරිකාවට හරි ජපානට හරි කොරියාවට හරි කොහේ හරි ගියොත් අවුරුදු 3ක් විතර හම්බ වෙනකොට ඔක්කොම තියෙන සර්ටිෆිකේට් උයි කප්සුයි ඔක්කොම ගහලා සල්ලිත් තියෙන කාර් 4ක් 5කුත් තියෙනවා. හැබැයි මෙහෙදී ඒක වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඒ මොකද? ඇයි අපි හුඟක් දක්ෂ විදියට අනිත් තැන් වල කරන්නේ එයාපෝට් එකේ එළියට යනකොට අපේ ටික ඇඟ හිටන් පාව වෙනස් වෙනවා. ඇසියාවත් වෙනස් වෙනවා. හැබැයි ඒ වගේම ආපහු එනකොටත් ඒක වෙනස් වෙනවා. හැබැයි එළියට ඉන්නකොට ඔක්කොම හරි. ඒ මොකද? ඒ කියන්නේ අපේ මොකක් හරි තියෙන ස්විචස් දෙක තුනක් මේ ඔන් ඔෆ් වෙන්නේ නැතිව. ඒ කියලා දෙන්නකො මට.
ප්‍රශ්නෙට සරල උත්තරයක් දෙන්න බොහොම අමාරුයි. මේකට 1 2 3 කියලා කියන්න. ඒක I think it's a bigger social and political and economical problem. අපි බැලුවොත්
මෙහෙම කියන්නකො මම මෙහෙමයි. අපි සරල කරන්න උත්තර. අපි පුද්ගලයෝ හැටියට මොකද්ද කරන්න පුළුවන්? අපි මේ සාකච්ඡාවට ඇවිල්ලා තියෙන පුද්ගලයෝ හැටියට. අපිට මොනවද කරන්න පුළුවන්? ඕක ගොඩ දාගන්න.
හරි. අපි පුද්ගලයෝ හැටියට අපි කරනවා. පළවෙනි එක අපි ඉන්ජිනියර්ස්ලාගේ මයින්ඩ්සෙට් එක අපි චේන්ජ් කරනවා. ඉන්ජිනියර් කෙනෙක් කියන්නේ the risk taker who is ready to take risk and venture into new things. And that is a totally new arena where you can be ඒක කරන්න ඒ ලංකාවේ දැන් ඒක කියන්නේ හැදුවේ මේක ෆැසිලිටි එක බෑ කියලා. දැන් අපි කරන්න ගියාම හුඟක් අපිට එනවා කැපිටල් එකක් හොයාගන්න දැන් ටෙක්නොලොජි ඩෙවලොප්මන්ට් එකක් නිවුස් තියෙනවා ලෝකෙට ඒක දැන් තමයි මේ ට්‍රෙන්ඩ් එක එන්නේ. ඉතින් බලන්න ඒ වගේ collaterals ඉන්නවා. සමහරවිට collaterals දෙන්න පුළුවන් ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් එකක් කියන්න ඕනේ කියන එක අවබෝධයක් නැහැ. ඒක ඕනේ. ගයිඩන්ස් එකක් නැහැ කම්පැනි එකක් රෙජිස්ටර් කරන්න. ඒක ඉන්ටිග්‍රේටඩ් සමාජය. අනිත් එක ඔන්ටර්ප්‍රිනර්ෂිප් කියන වැරදි දෙයක් නැහැ. ඔන්ටර්ප්‍රිනර්ෂිප් කියන්නේ අමං ආන්තර රස්සාවක් හරි උද්දේශකාරී රස්සාවක් විතර තමයි ගන්නවා කියන්නේ. entrepreneurship is a mindset. උදාහරණයකට මම අපි ඔෆිස් එකේ වැඩ කරනවා. අපි කියනවා එනක දවසක් මගේ අපි ට්‍රේනින් සෙෂන් එකක් කරනවා අවශ්‍ය දෙල්ල. ඒක ඇවිල්ලා. OHP එක මීඩියා ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් එක අය කරොත් අපි උදල් මම කියනවා. I didn't answer to that. මම අහුවා ඔයාගේ ඕගනයිසේෂන් එකක් ඔයා රන් කරනවා. ඔයා මොකද්ද කරන්නේ? කොට යාගේ උත්තරය මම මගේ ඕගනයිසේෂන් එක කරන්නේ. මම ඔෆිස් එකේ මගේ තියෙන මල්ටිමීඩියා ප්‍රොජෙක්ට්. ඒක තමයි මම කන්ටිනියුස් කරන්නේ. ඒක ලෝගෝස් එකේ ඔබ ඩෙවලොප් කරන්න පුළුවන්. innovations කරනවා. එතකොට දැන් අපි හුඟක් වෙලාවට අපි අනිත් mindset එකක් තියෙනවා අපේ young engineers එකේ අපි ගියාම හිතන්නේ පළවෙනි දවසේ වෙනම cubicle එකක්. වෙනම facilities තියෙනවා. තමන් හිතනවා තමන් 4 year degree එකක් කරන ආපු හින්දා තමන් O level වලින් ඇවිල්ලා ඒ work force එකේ කොමියුනිටි වැඩි ඉහළ මට්ටමක තමන් ඉන්නවා කියලා. ඒ වගේ ගැටලු තියෙනවා අපි හිතන අයගේ. එතකොට ඒගොල්ලන්ට ප්‍රූව් කරන්න. ඒගොල්ලන්ට ඔර්ගනයිසේෂන් එකට වැලියු එකක් ඒගොල්ලන්ට ඇඩ් කරන්න පුළුවන් කියලා. ඒක පෙන්නුවාම ඔර්ගනයිසේෂන් ඒක අපේ පැත්තෙන් තියෙනවා. අපිට හිතන්න බෑ. ඒගොල්ලෝ කතා කරලා ඩිරෙක්ටර් බෝඩ් එක හරි මැනේජ්මන්ට් ටීම් එක අපිට කතා කරලා අපිට ඔපචුනිටිස් දෙනවා. We have to create that opportunity.
Thank you, Gam. So, are we warmed up enough to ask some questions? The reason I asked the question, I could speak only 2 languages. One is Sinhala, one is English. So I asked from both languages just to encourage you to ask the questions in any language. I wish I could speak in Tamil. I would have asked the questions in Tamil too. Could you please step up to the plate? Gentlemen, 2 of you over there. And I know you are best seated. Maybe you are thinking outside the box because you are onto the right-hand side or the left-hand side. I don't know which side. It depends on how you look at it. Maybe you have some very interesting thoughts.
University, I think we have to focus about how we can deliver our lectures to the students in a good way. Become a good lecturer or something. Can you please tell me how we can adapt this process into our side, our area? Now you are talking about engineering in the in the technical field, but we are actually from the academic field. And from the academic field, lecturing. Can you please tell me how we can adapt these theories into our side?
Are you asking in context of for your students or for your?
Actually, think our goal is to become a good lecturer.
Okay.
Lecturer means we must benefit to the student.
Okay.
Can you please tell me how we can use this concept into our field?
Generally, adult learning consists of 3 components. One is lecture rooms, classroom training. Then the second type is experiential learning. Right? Even in engineering faculties, this vacation training leads to experiential learning. And the third type is exposure type training. So, adult learning, about 70% consists of experiential learning and exposure learning. I'll share with you a practical thing what we have done. I'll relate to your question. The organization we are working on, we want to inculcate strategic business thinking among the young people. They may be an executive, they may be assistant manager, but whatever it is, it's a very smart lot. All of them at least have a minimum 1 or 2 professional qualifications. Minimum 1. So what we did is, we created an environment. We divided them to 3 separate levels: senior managers, middle managers, and the executive. And we identify what are the burning needs of the organization. At the lowest level, it was how they can be cost conscious, how they can be, bring in some kind of operational efficiencies to the organization. At the highest level, how they can maintain the relationship with the stakeholders. Right? At the middle level, how they can effectively manage people. So we converted that learning to an experiential learning program. What we did is, we identified 3 case studies. For the lowest level, it was Tata Nano, and the middle level, Northwest Airline, and highest level, Procter. 3 different case studies we identified, and we did a guided training session for these people, how to analyze the case study, how they can identify the business trends, and did the mock session. After doing the mock session, we converted to a competition. Converting to a competition, we gave them very attractive prizes, maybe iPad for the winners. And in addition to that, there was a more important thing. Immediately when they do well, first 1, 2, 3, they were selected to the high potential team. So through that process, we didn't have to spend money. We created that environment for them to learn. So going by that, I'll come to your question. Now in your case also, For example, if you all are interested in getting to know these type of things, if you all are going to have interaction, certainly you can get in touch with industries, not only our organizations. There are so many industries they are willing to help the academics specifically, because if I train you, in turn you will share that with 100 people. For that matter, right now also, they have contacted us and they wanted to have a relationship with us, so we are open to that type of thing. So that is again experiential and exposure type of the learning which we can impart. But having said that, you also will have to take initiative. Once we took a very great initiative and we went to the university and we got down all the faculty heads and we shared with them, this is what our organization does, and we wanted to have an industry academic partnership with them. Right? But I'm sorry to say, the response we got from the academics was not encouraging at all. After we identified certain areas, and we were ready to give them exposure visits to Malaysia, Indonesia, that type of things, to identify certain projects and for them to work jointly with them. But after some time, we had to give up because there was no positive response from it. But having said that, I am not saying we are not ready, because certainly we are ready. If you all are ready to have interactions with us, we can do. And not only our organization, there are so many other organizations. Plus, another variation which just comes to my mind, now we are trying to set up these mentoring sessions for the faculty students. That's another thing that you can do. In fact, if you want, you can just go to Google internet and search on Jack Welch videos on mentoring, how highly he talks about mentoring. He says he himself is getting reverse mentored by his students. That is a very effective way of developing and imparting knowledge.
Gamini, I have a question for you. Do you think, I want to really come back to really focus on today's topic. It's about tomorrow that I'm interested, not the past. We are right here, I want to do something now for tomorrow. That's what all these lectures should be focused on and our actions should be focused on. Now, do you believe, this is a question to you, Gamini, as well as the audience, do you believe in Sri Lanka, when it comes to mentoring, that the past was different, we got different mentoring or somebody else got different mentoring than today? And how much of a role, you already said that mentoring plays a huge role. So do you think that the mentoring process in Sri Lanka has changed over the past decades? Specific question I'm asking, in your opinion, from your experiences.
Well, to my knowledge, I don't see mentoring is recognized and it is accepted in Sri Lanka yet. Other than few organizations where they take it when they identify the few high potentials to develop and take them to the next leadership role.
So you are saying that mentoring never existed really as a science?
No, I don't say
it. It was not a formally accepted way of doing things in Sri Lanka in the past? No.
Maybe Felix can comment on that.
I presume that you are lecturers in engineering, is it? In a university. I think it will be very, very relevant, and you are what you can do. My looking back and also comparing with a lot of other professions like accountancy and so on, the nurturing stage, and you rightly mentioned, what is needed is not so much the knowledge as even more the mindset. What are you? May I ask you a simple question? Now, if you say what your job is, giving lectures, to be very frank, you don't need you. Today, the technology is so much, you can get all that notes that you give in the lectures, except maybe testing. Even testing can be done. What is your objective? No, you're nurturing a very impressionable mind at a very crucial age. Engineers, what do you want them to be? Do you want them to be somebody, who is know more and more engineering and be an engineer end of his life? Or do you, at least some, not all, do you want them to be leaders, be entrepreneurs, not necessarily engineers? So, what are you? I'm just directly asking you, have you thought about it?
I totally agree with you. Currently, in our education system, I'm facing we are dealing engineering. That's why I asked you how we can do it, because we are generating that in time frame. Yeah, concept is then as they want the engineer and get a big salary and I think their mindset also very I see. That's why I are asking what can we do in our stage to change that thing in our means the situation we can't see now.
I understood you correctly what you are trying to say. You agree, right?
Yeah.
Currently, very much focus on
education system. What we are doing is we are dealing with and take them to the combined path. But that's why I am saying what we have to do to lead them beyond that kind of barrier. Because that's why I asked you, what can we do?
Can I ask you?
Yeah.
Tell me anything that you say. Non-engineering, the most recent publication or the book or the reference.
True enough, our engineering, those with engineering background are very poor. But there are some people who have been business leaders and who are running companies, who are owning companies. Can you name one of them? Sri Lankan company? NAS Holdings is there, then Dialog Axiata Telecom is there, Colombo Dockyard, then there are several cases. Do you know anything about it?
Probably not, right? So
No.
the answer
No,
is
basically what I'm trying is, you see, you there are. I'll tell you, now for instance, Mahesh Amalian is an engineer, chemical engineer, one of the greatest. Then Hans Vijay Surya, engineer, and he's an international figure.
Nalaka
Godaheva. Then what about Dockyards? Mangala Yapa, who is very much an engineer.
Vajirakula Tilaka.
So many. Arvind Pereira, who is the CEO of Sampath Bank, right? Except for Arvind and this, I wonder whether you realize most of them have been trained in the foreign university. Mahesh was in Indian University. Hans, UK. Then Virtusa. Kanakaratna. He is very much a Sri Lankan.
Are you heading in a direction to say that there's something, the exposure?
Yes. Frankly, that's what I'm trying to get. I think that nurturing stage, our universities get the cream of this and create just small minions on tap. Now, why? Or is that what it should be? For instance, you must give a vision. Now, you take SEMA. I know I'm involved in SEMA. They give you a lot of accounting, all that. But if you India, all their, you ask them, all the lecturers and so on. But yes, this thing is not just to be a chief accountant, but the CEO. So this is only it's a stepping stone to be an accountant, chief accountant, then the CEO. So do we give that mindset to an engineer, and not only CEO but also technical understanding? So personally, I think a lot depends on universities, institutes of engineers. We are training engineers. So the mindset, the main thing is the mindset.
My name is Lolita Vikramarachi. work for Atkins Pens as head of engineering. So basically, my thought is, so in Sri Lankan business mix, most of the companies in service sector. In service sector industry, it is accountant who run the business basically. So we are under their authority, engineers, right? So that is the biggest challenge we are facing. I mean, in service sector industry mainly, these are cash flow driven, P&L driven organizations. So being engineers with co-engineering capabilities, uplift movement is very, very limited. So that is the biggest challenge we are facing, according to my view. My second question is, of course, yes, to start a business.
Sorry, sir. What was your first question?
First question is, in Sri Lankan business mix, most of the companies are now into service. If you get 100 companies, 75 is into either trading or service sector, right? In this line of business, the engineer doesn't have much of a say. Basically it is accountant who run the business basically. It's a matter of managing the cash flow and running the P&L. And we are under the authority of accountant. But accountants are trained for manage business during their audit time and all. They know very well how to run the business. We being engineers, basically we consider technical things, right? So in that line, very difficult to engineers to come up and reach the positions like CEOs and get management, strategical level management decision. That is a reality, right? The second thing is, I am very happy that the subject is timely, appropriate subject, entrepreneurship. So actually, I want to start my own business. I am just thinking starting my own business. If I am going to start a business, what would be my starting point, and what would be the checklist for me to assess whether I can start my own business, right? So in case, for example, say you want to buy a Jeep or car, right? So we do some financial assessment, right? But starting own business is not it's a very critical decision in our life, because one hand we have to leave our profession or rather job and start something own with risk, right? So there should be some checklist. What are the things I should check? Am I suitable to start a business? And what are the things to be improved? I need some quantitative answer.
I think the two questions are clear, right? One is, how do I go up the ladder, or if I may say, important questions in a service sector market. Other one is, of course, how do I start a business? What are my checklists?
To answer to your first question, yes, you have already identified why we can't go up the ladder. Because we are focusing on the engineering domain. But that itself is true again. What is the problem that we about to buy the system? Not great people who are the people doing business well. We don't look at them as role models. It's so good to be there. See, they are outside. So we have to look at it internally. It's always very, very easy to externalize the problem. But another leadership quality is leaders never externalize the problem. If you want to be an entrepreneur, that's the first thing you have to learn. It is within your control and you can control it. You have to look at it in that respect, and as senior engineers, all of us, we have to step in and we have to help, and we have to see how that can be done. Having said that, I can tell you two other things. It's the head of Apex. Another person is the head of, another engineer is the head of Securities and Exchange Commission. And another one is the head of a commercial bank. So there are people who are in the service sector. There is nothing difficult. As long as it is very clear to us that we want to get into that field.
Gamini, can I add something before you ask? I think you are going for a second question, but let me add something. We didn't get your name, sir. What was your name?
My name is Lolita.
Lolita. Couple of things. For the two questions you asked, very interesting two questions. First one, I'm looking at there's a reason why I put this up. So if you don't take any notes, if you take these notes and keep looking at this like a mantra, I think you might learn something. I mean, if you do this for 365 days, you might finally get the message. Now, if you look at number 6, self-confidence in problem solving, right? You have a problem. Now, I could give a very flat out, straight answer to your second question. Go do Google, right? The answer is Google. Why are you asking today, this day and age? I know why you asked that. I know the mindset, the risk, because I myself have started a business on my own and I know how it all works out. But when I started, there was no Google, no internet. You do exactly that jump into the thing because I left Haley's and one day I came home and quit the job and waited for about 4 months to figure out what I'm supposed to do because I just want to start a business. But I didn't know how. So that's the kind of risk I took because Haley's used to be a top-notch company those days and I was very well paid. But I quit the job because finally I could not make up my mind. So I threw myself out. I quit the job. I just quit the job because I want to get butterflies in the stomach, get really scary. So level of confidence has to be there. So if you want to find out how to start a business, my God, you can read on for another 365 days. There's plenty of material, 8-point list, 10-point list, so-and-so's book, e-book, this and that. There's so much of information. But also if you listen to Gamini's early part of the lecture, he mentioned about technopreneurship and entrepreneurship. He said it's the ability to, within the process, look at process changes as well, because as engineers, you can do process changes in a service sector. Who do you think in the BPO industry? In the BPO industry, who do you think is improving the productivity of a telephone operator? Industrial engineer, work study guy. So there is no limit to engineering. I think Gamini very clearly mentioned that we already have something remarkable that most people don't have. Which side of the brain is that? The left side. That you don't get. That's your sweep ticket. You can't just go and become an engineer. Just you feel like at the age of 50, you can become an engineer. It'll be amazing if you can probably, but it's a tough choice. But I think you can become a lawyer. You also can become an accountant at the age of 75. You can become an artist. You can do a lot of those things at a very late stages. But to really understand engineering, it's a gift. So we already got the gift. It's a matter of actually, my straightforward answer is that if you look at this list of things, doing some of these things, it's already up here. Go ahead, ask the question.
If you go back to Gamini's the point, so most of the key people who referred, even though they were engineers, later they turn and tune to finance people.
That's perfectly fine. The reason I want to be a brilliant engineer, which I'm not actually, is to make a shitload of money. One of the reasons. Surely. Surely. Right? Now look at this guy, Facebook guys, the Google guys, at the age of, they got billions. I don't know what they're going to do with that money. That's why they're trying to change the world. This business, it's interesting. You mentioned this statement, you made this statement I often hear. All they want to do is make money. In fact, I think somebody mentioned, I think you mentioned, sir, they are looking for cubicles or something like that. I want a cubicle. I want the fastest car. I want a big paycheck. But that does not mean I don't have the curiosity, because I'm trying to figure out how do I get 2 cars. Right? I am curious about all those things. That's what drives me. So it's nothing wrong in looking for money or having fast cars or fancy shirts and dresses and shoes and everything. That's perfectly. If that's your thing, do it. But find the money to do that. Use the engineering knowledge to do that, if you could.
Agree. That's a drive.
I would like to add to what Abdullah said. If you want to be an entrepreneur, first thing is you should passionately believe in what you want to do. If you don't passionately believe in what you want to do, any of the other techniques won't work. So anybody else can do that, only you. The rest is okay, company formation, all that, all those things. You will find ways if you believe in what you want to do. And I want to take on share about the creating a vision statement, which is very true, and I agree. My company, I come to IU 21 years old. But if you ask, he can join as a management, and if you ask, he will tell, okay, within next 15 years, this is where I am going to be. Within these first 3 years, these are the gaps I am going to go. This is how I am going to shift my job. So that broader perspective, the vision is created by the system. That's the conducive environment that is created. All that varies from organization to organization, but it is a we can take a view and mobilize this help this.
Then I'm going to throw another question at Gamini and maybe Mr. Prelish and some other the people with experience. There's a question. First goes the question. Please ask.
Yes, I am Bandara from Sri Lanka Railways. That first thing we have that if we want to change the situation, the first thing is mindset, that attitude change. And secondly, the environment that we are living, our surrounding. And next only, we can expect for the income increase. But today, engineers looking for the first, the last thing. We look for a better salary, better car, better house, better everything better. Being an engineer, we are expect that. We are not trying to change our attitudes and our environment. We are actually that. For say, we are importing everything here and dumping Sri Lankan customers to use them and looking for income from that. We are not trying to change our environment and create things, and next we can expect income, better living. That actually we have to satisfy what we have. Then we can change the environment and go for the things like to change the environment for a better income. That's the idea.
Let me clarify. I want to make sure that I understand your question.
Thank you.
You are saying that first satisfy the. What are you trying to say? Are we trying to say that
Actually, first,
just live with your
first
means?
we have to satisfy what we have, and we have to change the environment to a better place. Let's say that now roads are all roads are making highways. That the environment is changing without our attitude.
Are you making but Mr. Bandar, are you making a I understood now. Are you making a statement or are you asking a question? It's just a statement, is it?
No, that is my idea that
Yes, okay.
to discuss.
Understood,
further.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get into that. Just want to get a quick time check, right? I would like to come to a hard stop at 7:15, which means we have about another 12-13 minutes, right? I think that should be sufficient for the.
And doing certain things in the same way. So that we have to firmly believe. Now, that's why I'm saying don't get stagnating engineering profession. If you think, okay, that is not where you should be, try and see where your skills, where you can move in. Engineering is a very good degree. I don't regret doing engineering. But engineering is a very good degree, but I didn't want to be stuck with machines and, the boilers and all. But that logical thinking process, rational thinking process, putting it into a process, and now I am working as HR consultant. So I don't know any formal HR consultant. But just for you to share, within last 3 years, my organization won 5 international awards for the work we did. So being an engineer is a good platform. And then see where you want to go, where your skills, where you passionately believe and move it. That is one. I think I answered your first question. The second one, what we are saying is a more broader, which we have to discuss. I am not sure this is the correct forum. Yes, I mean, you can just go independently on infrastructure development without seeing how the attitudinal changes take place, how you can look at the economies of the repayment back. Yes, it's a more broader thing which we have to take it up at the correct forum.
Well, any other big questions, focus questions? Mr. Prelis, you wanted to say something. Sorry, I took the chance away. If you could remember what you were going to say, probably not right now. yes, sorry. That's okay. If it is important, you would have remembered it, and now it's gone. Just a quick thought on my part. I've been, just to give a quick, just for a few of you who are here, quick background of myself. I'm a product of Sri Lanka, graduated from here, worked here for 10 years, then went abroad, and after about 28 years came back to Sri Lanka, and I have been very active in the society, IESL and various other forums, not only in Colombo, everywhere in the country. I travel a lot. For the 4 years. So I have a pretty good idea. I know how things were in the past, how things were in the middle, and how things are right now. This is amazing that I hear all the time, even in the engineering council, our own council, about this, how do I say this without sounding very bad actually? We are, how might I say the way I feel it, right? I think we have a very defeatist mentality, the engineers, very defeatist. සිංහලම කියනවා මොකද සිංහලෙන් තමයි එක මට ඇහෙන්නේ සර් මේ මට එනවා ඊමේල් now because I am a council member කාගේද පඩිය වැඩි අපිට පඩිය වැඩි කරගන්න බැරිද ඒ කියන්නේ දැන් engineer කෙනෙක්ගේ ඒක the assumption there is that just because I am an engineer I should be paid more. Why? If you don't even have an education, and if I'm a business owner and I have an engineer and another person, if the other person is bringing more money to my bottom line, he's going to be the boss. There's no question in my mind. You can come and ask me and I will say, there's the door, please go. Because the bottom line is the results, right? So I think the biggest issue from Sri Lankan context that I am beginning to get, I think, is that I think Gamini pointed these things out throughout his lecture. That this is recorded and I would like all of you to go back and keep on watching it. Because I think all these points were touched. We have this assumption that once you got the engineering, what did he say? He used the word unlearn. You said that to become a technopreneur or an entrepreneur, you have to learn and learn the art of unlearning. Unlearning goes for me, Mr. Prelis and everybody. I am constantly unlearning. I get up in the morning and I am constantly learning new things. To learn new things, since I have a limited capacity, I have to unlearn. I have to get rid of most of the stuff. And the older I get, the capacity is getting really reduced. So unlearning is a very big thing. Look at these statements here. Curious. I don't see curiosity in our society. Very few people are curious. In fact, people tell me, be careful, Arjuna. Don't be too curious. There's a statement, right? What got killed? The cat got killed, right? Because the cat was curious, right? So they say, don't be very curious. Why not? Ask the question, are you curious? Mr. Patirana, you are right at the end. Are you curious? Yes? Okay. Always open to new things. So this list, the reason I put this list up again and again and I keep pointing to this, ask the question, are you there? It has nothing to do with your age. You could be 20, you could be 40, you could be 55, you could be 85. If you have to look at this list because it's a 8-point list, I think most of us are missing these marks, most of these marks even at the age of 75. That's my feeling, right? It's all about, you talked about a Bandara attitude, right? So this is a good checklist to check every day. Which one is I'm getting A+. That's my feeling about all this.
Just to add to what you said, I should say this is adapted from HBR magazine based international issues that they have done, and they have grouped the characteristics which is validated in
Got time for one more question. Shama, you are not going to ask questions because he teaches you everything, right? At home. Shama, Gunawardana Agamini's better half, as we say. Any other burning question? Yes, sir? You have a question? No. Not today, right? We'll take it up. Well, in that sense, Mr. Prelis, you want to make a final statement or anything like that? No? Yes? Please, if you have. I am not forcing you to do that, but if you do have burning. Okay.
really appreciate, because from my own experience, I can feel what seems to be the issue. And I think you rightly. I must say, you yourself is a role model. You know, we have to have role model. No, again, because I had also something back. Very important to give this mindset. Teach your mathematics, teach your engineering. Give the idea, okay, you do engineering, maybe get a job, make all the mistakes at somebody else's expense. But ultimately, your objective is not to end up as an engineer, working for somebody, but to be, as the university calls, not to be a job seeker, but also to job creator. That is the role model. Of course, we have 100, all 100 more, but at 20%, 1 in 5 will go, and that is how this country can. No other way. Innovation, entrepreneurship, particularly engineering. What we said, who should start this technical innovative thing? Is the engineers, because they are at the same time. They don't use it. In fact, they don't know what engineering is. Excellent take-off for anything. You say, you are HR. I'm in banking. That's very good thing, better than anything. But if you remain, it will be like instead of taking off, you will be just jogging along the runway. So, great thing, I think. You say first go, instead of engineers, to also really give this purpose.
Thank you, Mr. Prelinis. Just for the sake of it, let me tell something that the connection between Mr. Prelinis and myself, that actually I don't think he knows this. When he was running this bank, DFCC, the first development bank, I was very, very young. I went twice to him. I keep reminding him, he didn't give me the job, but I went there because he was my role model, sir. You were my role model. For some reason, I thought, he's a tall, handsome young man, the engineer running the biggest bank in Sri Lanka, hot shot. And I said, that's what I want to be, right? I made twice to the final interview, and he said, you should start your own business. I don't think you didn't give me the job. You saw something in me, and you keep reminding me to start. That's an old story. So because at the end of the day, if Gamini, you have any final thoughts on this, so you can wrap it up.
Finally, what I would like to say is, somebody talked about values. Engineers are with values. You can't do anything, at least do a service to the country, get into politics. Try and see whether we can change the system.
That's your final thought. That's a good one. You can go and sleep on it for a few days and think about it, right? I think that's irrelevant. So let me do this. The time has come. I think it was very exciting lecture. It's too bad that we didn't have enough people. I think weather really played a role, but if you are an entrepreneur or entrepreneur, ගංගතුර ගැලුවත් එන්න ඕන, right? ඉතින් ඒක තියෙන පොඩි ප්‍රශ්නයක් එතනම ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා. වැස්ස කියලා එන්න මොනවාද? ඔමනේ හිම වැටෙන තැන් වල මිනිස්සු වැඩ කරන්නේ. Anyway, this lecture has been recorded, so this will be available through the ISL archived videos if you go to www.isl.com. And we plan to continue similar series of lectures. The Mechanical Engineering Sectional Committee this year, while we are coming up with some very hardcore technical lectures, we are also bringing a lot of different things about economy, these kind of entrepreneurship and etc. So we want to try to kind of spread the spray paint the whole thing with different things in the collage. I would like to congratulate Gamini for a very interesting lecture. Gamini, amazingly, you actually finished it before the given time, and you were very well organized. I think every slide has a meaning, so I hope everybody takes it back and look at it repeatedly. In terms of appreciation from ISL, I have a little token here. Let's give him a big hand to Gamini Gunawardana. Thank you very much. Have a good night.